the cheapest Japanese car is not always the one with the lowest price. Sometimes the real bill arrives years later. Today, I ranked Japanese car brands by real 10-year maintenance and repair cost. Honda was not number one. The winner is not flashy, it just keeps owners away from the repair counter. Now let us see which badge stays cheap after the warranty is gone. Number 9. Infiniti. Infiniti starts at the expensive end, and that should not surprise anyone who has owned one after the warranty disappeared. This is Nissan luxury. That means strong engines, comfortable cabins, good power, and enough premium equipment to make repair bills feel heavier than the used price suggests. The 10-year maintenance and repair estimate is around $11,836. That is not German luxury car madness, but it is still the highest Japanese brand cost in this ranking. The reason is simple. Luxury always adds cost. More power means bigger tires, stronger brakes, more heat, and more stress on driveline parts. More comfort means more motors, sensors, modules, cameras, screens, trim pieces, and diagnostic time. More premium features mean fewer cheap fixes when something stops working. Infiniti can be a good car. The Q50, QX60, QX80, and older G models all have fans for a reason. The problem is that a strong engine does not make the whole car cheap to own. Here is where buyers get trapped. A used Infiniti can look like a bargain. The purchase price drops fast, the cabin still feels premium, and the engine may sound healthy. The repair bill does not care what the second owner paid. Luxury tires still cost luxury money. Premium brakes still cost more. Electronic diagnosis still takes time. That is why depreciation can lie. This is also why Infiniti shoppers need to separate engine reputation from total ownership cost. A V6 can be strong, while the rest of the vehicle ages like a luxury product. Seat motors, infotainment issues, electronic steering complaints, adaptive systems, and worn suspension parts do not care that the engine still pulls hard. The car may never leave you stranded, yet it can still keep asking for money. The cheap entry ticket is not cheap ownership. Infiniti repairs often arrive one piece at a time. A sensor here, a tire bill there, a suspension part later, a fluid service after that. None of them feels shocking, alone. 10 years later, the pattern becomes obvious. This is the brand that teaches a painful lesson. A discounted luxury car can still charge full-price luxury bills. The next brand also wears a luxury badge, but it has Honda blood underneath. That sounds like a shortcut to cheap ownership, until one popular family vehicle starts changing the math. Number 8. Acura. Acura should be cheaper than most luxury brands. Usually it is. The 10-year maintenance and repair estimate is around $8,414, which is far below Infiniti. Compared with mainstream Honda, though, Acura still costs noticeably more. That difference matters. Acura shares a lot of Honda engineering, but it does not always share Honda ownership costs. Bigger engines, all-wheel drive, premium tires, luxury electronics, adaptive dampers, heavier bodies, and dealership labor all push the bill upward. The TLX, RDX, and MDX can be excellent long-term vehicles. Many owners buy Acura because they want Honda dependability with more comfort. That logic is not wrong. The trap is assuming Acura equals Civic money. A V6 timing belt service is not something to ignore. All-wheel drive components need attention. Bigger wheels eat more expensive tires. Luxury features that feel harmless when the car is new can become expensive when age starts hunting sensors, screens, and control modules. The NDX is the perfect example. It can be a brilliant family vehicle, but it is also heavy, often all-wheel drive, usually loaded with equipment and used hard by families. School runs, road trips, winter driving, kids, cargo, and neglected fluid services all show up later as real cost. Acura's advantage is that the cars are rarely hopeless when maintained properly. The danger comes from buying a neglected luxury Honda at a discount and expecting the badge to erase previous owner abuse. That never works. The smartest Acura owners avoid that trap by treating the car like a premium Honda from day one. They keep every fluid current, they service the transmission early, they respect timing belt intervals, and they do not ignore small suspension noises. That is how Acura stays reasonable. The wrong owner turns a good luxury bargain into a repair list with Honda badges and luxury pricing. Hit the like button if you have ever seen a cheap luxury car turn into an expensive lesson because that is exactly where 10-year repair cost gets dangerous. Acura is still a smart luxury buy. It just is not the cheapest Japanese ownership experience. The next brand is not luxury at all, which makes its position more frustrating. It should be cheaper than Acura by a mile, but one transmission question keeps following it like a warning light. Number 7. Nissan. Nissan is the brand that makes people argue in every comment section. Some owners swear by them. Other owners still talk about transmission sensors, cheap interior pieces, and repairs that arrived too early for a Japanese car. The 10-year maintenance and repair estimate sits around $7,384. That puts Nissan above Mazda, Subaru, Mitsubishi, Honda, Lexus, and Toyota in this ranking. That is not a disaster. It is still better than many non-Japanese brands. The problem is that Nissan used to have a stronger reputation for simple, tough, low-cost cars. The modern cost story is more mixed. The Versa and Sentra can be affordable when maintained. The Altima can last when treated properly. The Frontier has old-school toughness in the right years. The Z and GTR belong in a different conversation because performance always changes the budget. The Shadow is the CVT. Not every Nissan CVT fails. Not every Nissan problem is a transmission problem. The issue is that enough owners have faced expensive transmission concerns that the brand carries a repair cost fear. Other Japanese brands do not carry as heavily. That fear changes the way people own the car. Some owners maintain carefully because they are nervous. Others do the opposite. They assume the big bill is coming, stop spending properly, and let the car slide downhill. A cheap used Nissan can be smart. A cheap used Nissan with no service history can be a trap. This is where homework matters. On, model, year, transmission, fluid service, driving history, and previous ownership matter more with Nissan than people want to admit. The safest Nissan buyer is not the one who finds the lowest price. It is the one who finds the cleanest history. A higher mileage Nissan, with proof of transmission service, cooling maintenance, and regular oil changes can be smarter than a low-mileage one with mystery ownership. Cheap Japanese cars become expensive when the records are missing, and the seller only says, "It runs fine." Model mix also matters. Leaf has a very different cost story from an Armada. A Sentra is not a Titan, a Frontier is not a Rogue. Nissan's average gets pulled around by vehicles that live completely different lives, which is why smart buyers should never judge the whole brand from one neighbor's horror story. A cheap Nissan can be a smart buy, or it can be the car that proves purchase price is only the bait. The next brand costs almost the same on paper, but it hides the money in a completely different way. Number 6. The Mazda is the brand that quietly became more premium without becoming truly expensive to maintain. The 10-year maintenance and repair estimate is around $7,381, almost tied with Nissan. That may surprise people who still think of Mazda as the cheap, sporty alternative to Toyota and Honda. Here is the difference. Mazda usually feels more expensive than the bill. The steering is sharper, the interiors are nicer. The styling feels more premium. A Mazda 3 or CX-5 often feels like it should cost more to maintain than it does. That is why Mazda earns respect here. Naturally aspirated Mazda engines are usually the safer long-term choice. Skyactiv engines reward clean oil, proper cooling, and owners who do not treat maintenance like an optional hobby. The Mazda 3, Mazda 6, CX-5, and CX-30 can all be reasonable to keep alive. The caution starts with turbo models, all-wheel drive, premium trims, and owners who buy the nicest version without thinking about the later cost. Mazda is not fragile. It is also not the old bargain bin brand people. Remember, parts can cost more than expected in certain areas. Dealer service can add up. Newer models have more technology, which means future diagnosis when cameras, sensors, screens, and modules age. Mazda owners also tend to care about the way the car drives. That means better tires, more spirited driving, and sometimes higher expectations for how the car should feel. Those choices are not bad. They just move the 10-year bill away from pure appliance money. Mazda is a thinking person's choice. The smart buyer checks whether the extra driving pleasure is worth the slightly higher long-term cost compared with the cheapest brands over 10 years of ownership. Mazda also proves that repair cost is not only about failure, sometimes it is about standards. A Toyota owner may tolerate a little noise or worn trim because the car is an appliance. A Mazda owner often notices when the steering feels off, the ride gets rough, or the cabin loses its tight feeling. That means repairs may happen earlier, not because the car is broken, but because the owner expects it to feel good. It gives style, feel, and value, but it rewards buyers who choose the right engine, trim, and drivetrain. The next brand costs less, yet many owners still get shocked. Why would a brand famous for bad weather confidence punish people who forget about tires? Number 5. Subaru. Subaru owners are loyal for a reason. UL Drive comes standard on most models. The cars feel secure in rain, snow, dirt, mountain weather. The Outback, Forester, Crosstrek, Impreza, and Ascent all speak to buyers who want practical cars with a little adventure baked in. The 10-year maintenance and repair estimate is around $7,291. That puts Subaru below Mazda and Nissan, but above the cheapest Japanese brands. That sounds fair. Subaru is not outrageous. It is not Toyota cheap either. The reason is design. Boxer engines sit differently in the engine bay. Some jobs take more time. All-wheel drive adds extra parts. Tire matching matters more. CVT service matters. Older head gasket stories still shape the way people talk about the brand, even though modern Subaru issues are not identical to old Subaru issues. The cars can last a long time with proper care. The catch is that Subaru owners often use the cars exactly as advertised: snow, dirt roads, roof boxes, camping gear, pets, mountain trips, harsh weather. Those lifestyles create wear. This is the part buyers miss. Subaru costs are not only about the car, they are about the life the car gets thrown into. A Forester living on easy suburban roads may stay reasonable. An Outback loaded with gear through winter, gravel, salt, and steep roads may tell a different story. There is also the tire issue. All-wheel drive systems, like matched tires. One damaged tire can become a bigger bill if the other tires are already worn. That simple road hazard can turn into a 4-tire conversation. Subaru ownership rewards people who understand the system before the first snowy day arrives. Subaru also has a community effect. Owners talk, compare, and warn each other, which helps people catch problems early. That is good. The downside is that fear spreads fast. One CVT story, one head gasket memory, one expensive tire situation, and suddenly every small noise feels serious. Smart Subaru owners do not panic. They simply maintain the drivetrain like all-wheel drive actually costs something. The important point is that Subaru's extra cost usually buys something real: bad weather confidence, traction, ground clearance, and practical packaging. All have value. The mistake is pretending those benefits are free. Every brand has a trade. Subaru's trade is paying more attention to tires, fluids, and drivetrain health than a basic front-wheel drive commuter requires. The next brand is the one that makes the whole ranking weird. It is luxury, yet it beats Subaru, Mazda, Nissan, Acura, and Infiniti on average cost. That sounds backwards until you remember who is hiding under the suit. Number 4. Lexus. Lexus is where the ranking starts to embarrass other brands. This is a luxury badge, yet the 10-year maintenance and repair estimate is around $7,110. That is lower than Subaru, Mazda, Nissan, Acura, and Infiniti. That is the Lexus trick. It gives luxury without the usual luxury punishment. Toyota engineering is the reason. Lexus models often use proven engines, transmissions, platforms, electronics, switches, and service knowledge shared with Toyota products. The cars are not cheap, but they are usually designed with long-term discipline. An ES can be shockingly affordable for a luxury sedan. The RX became a favorite because it gives comfort without terrifying repair math. The GX and LX cost more to feed and maintain, but they carry serious Toyota truck bones. This is why Lexus scares rival luxury brands. It proves comfort does not have to mean constant punishment. A Lexus owner may still pay more than a Toyota owner, yet the car often ages with more dignity than luxury rivals. That is why used Lexus models remain desirable, while many old luxury cars become warnings on wheels. Lexus is not free money. Tires can cost more. Dealer service is premium. Hybrid systems, air suspension on some models, luxury electronics, and neglected flagship sedans can create real bills. A cheap used Lexus can be dangerous if the previous owner skipped every expensive service. Lexus also benefits from a different kind of owner. Many Lexus buyers are older, more cautious, and more willing to maintain the car properly. That matters. A reliable design becomes even cheaper when the owner is not abusing launches, skipping fluids, or modifying everything. Used Lexus shoppers should still be careful, but clean service records on the right model can turn luxury ownership into a surprisingly calm experience. The key is model choice. A clean ES is one ownership story. An old LS with neglected suspension is another. A GX with good records is one thing. A beaten LX with cheap tires and ignored fluids is another. Lexus wins by keeping luxury controlled. The next brand has almost no luxury image left in America, yet the cost number quietly beats Lexus. Is it underrated or just cheap for a reason? Let's find out. Number 3. Mitsubishi may be the biggest surprise on this list. The 10-year maintenance and repair estimate is around $6,822. That is just above Honda and lower than Lexus, Subaru, Mazda, Nissan, Acura, and Infiniti. People love to mock Mitsubishi. They say the lineup is small, they say the glory days are gone, they say the interiors are basic. Some of that criticism is fair. Repair cost tells another story. A simple lineup can help. Mirage, Outlander Sport, Eclipse Cross, and Outlander models are not trying to be luxury performance machines. They are transportation first. Less drama can mean less money. The Mirage is slow, basic, and not glamorous. That also means there is less expensive hardware to impress you and less expensive hardware to fail later. The Outlander can be sensible when serviced correctly. The CVT still deserves attention, and cheap purchase price does not cancel maintenance. Mitsubishi also benefits from expectation. Most buyers do not expect a sports sedan, luxury lounge, or off-road status symbol. They expect a car that gets them to work, school, shops, and home. That lower complexity helps keep the 10-year bill under control. Here is the warning. Cheap ownership does not mean the car is better in every way. Depreciation can be heavy. Interior quality can feel basic. Resale strength may not match Toyota or Honda. A buyer who wants excitement may feel disappointed. A buyer who wants lower 10-year repair cost may quietly win. Mitsubishi's biggest problem is not always repair cost. It is perception. People assume a cheap Mitsubishi must be a bad Mitsubishi, so the brand gets dismissed before the numbers are even checked. That can create used car opportunities. A simple, well-maintained Mitsubishi may not impress your friends, but it might quietly keep thousands of dollars in your pocket over a decade. That is the Mitsubishi story. The brand is not as dead as people joke. It simply wins in a boring way. The next brand is the one many viewers expected to win. It is excellent, trusted, and cheap to keep alive. One small gap keeps it from number 1. Number 2. Honda. Honda not being number 1 will annoy people. That reaction makes sense. Honda has built some of the most trusted cars on the road. Civic, Accord, CR-V, Fit, Pilot, Odyssey, Ridgeline. The brand earned its reputation through engines that last, cabins that survive abuse, and cars that keep moving after the loan is gone. The 10-year maintenance and repair estimate is around $6,799. That is excellent. It beats Mitsubishi by a small amount. It beats Lexus clearly. It beats Subaru, Mazda, Nissan, Acura, and Infiniti without needing an argument. Honda's strength is familiarity. Almost every independent shop has worked on Civics, Accords, and CR-Vs. That matters. A common car is easier to diagnose. A common part is easier to find. A common repair is less likely to become paid guesswork. Honda also benefits from owner culture. People expect Hondas to last. So many owners keep them longer, repair them instead of dumping them, and learn basic maintenance earlier. That culture keeps cars alive. The weak spots still matter. Some older automatic transmissions hurt Honda's reputation. Certain V6 models need timing belts. Direct injection engines need proper oil and fuel habits. Turbocharged newer models need more attention than old naturally aspirated Hondas. An Odyssey can cost more than a Civic. A Pilot can cost more than an Accord. Honda is excellent, not magic. Honda also loses a little ground because some of its most useful vehicles are not its cheapest vehicles. Families love the Odyssey and Pilot, but minivans and larger crossovers work hard. Sliding doors, V6 service, suspension wear, air conditioning loads, and family abuse all add cost. A Civic is one story. A 3-row Honda full of children, luggage, heat, and stop-start traffic is another. A good Honda can still become expensive if the owner ignores valve adjustments, transmission fluid, oil changes, cooling service, or suspension wear. Reliability gives you a head start. It does not give you permission to act careless. That is why Honda lands second. Number 2 is not an insult. It simply means the brand did not win the cost math. Honda is excellent, but the final brand beats it by doing something even more powerful than building exciting cars. It makes ownership boring, predictable, and cheaper when the years start getting expensive. Number 1, Toyota wins. That may sound predictable, but the reason matters. The 10-year maintenance and repair estimate is around 5,470 penderthas. That's much lower than Honda's average and far lower than Infiniti, Acura, Nissan, Mazda, Subaru, Lexus, and Mitsubishi. That gap is serious. Compared with Honda, Toyota saves about $1,329 over 10 years. Compared with Infiniti, the gap is more than $6,000. That is not internet bragging. That is real ownership money. Toyota wins because the brand avoids unnecessary cleverness more often than rivals. The company is willing to reuse proven parts, keep engines conservative, and let a model feel slightly boring if that boring choice saves owners money later. Enthusiasts complain about that. Owners on a budget benefit from it. Corolla, Camry, Prius, RAV4, Highlander, Sienna, Tacoma, and older Toyota trucks all helped build the pattern. Parts are everywhere. Independent mechanics know them. Engines are usually conservative. Many transmissions are proven. The model lineup has countless vehicles designed for ordinary people who want low-drama ownership. Toyota's real advantage shows up when the car gets old. The 10th year is where many brands start feeling tired, but a basic Toyota often still feels worth fixing. That matters because owners make different decisions when a car feels trustworthy. They replace the brakes. They service the suspension. They keep it another year. Low repair cost creates confidence, and confidence keeps the car alive. Toyota is not perfect. Some engines burned oil, some frames rusted. Some hybrids may eventually need battery work. Some trucks cost more than small sedans. Some owners abuse the Toyota badge as an excuse to skip maintenance. That is still foolish. The difference is that Toyota usually gives owners more margin for error. A Corolla can forgive more than many cars. A Camry can pile up boring miles without luxury bills. A Prius can reduce brake wear through regeneration. A RAV4 can become the family appliance that refuses to leave. This is what cheap ownership really looks like. Not exciting, not dramatic, not impressive at a car meet. Just fewer expensive surprises. Toyota does not win because every model is perfect. It wins because the whole ownership system works. Common parts, simple repairs, strong resale, broad mechanic knowledge, conservative engineering, and a model mix full of ordinary cars people keep for years. That is why Honda was not number 1. Honda may feel more fun. Mazda may feel more premium. Subaru may feel more adventurous. Lexus may feel more luxurious. Mitsubishi may be cheaper than people expect. Nissan may still be a smart used buy if chosen carefully. Toyota wins because 10 years later, the owner is usually still spending less money to keep the car useful. This is why repair cost rankings matter more than loyalty arguments. A brand that saves money quietly gives owners choices. It can help someone keep a car through school, a new job, a family emergency, or a tight year when one surprise repair would ruin the budget. That is the difference between cheap to buy and cheap to own. One feels good today, the other still feels good 10 years later, after receipts stack up quietly. That is the quiet victory. Here is the part people forget when they shop for used Japanese cars. The badge does not pay the invoice. 10-year repair cost is not about which brand gets the loudest applause online. It is about what happens after the excitement fades, the warranty ends, the tires wear down, the fluids age, and the first real repair estimate lands on the counter. That is when the truth shows up. Drop a comment with a Japanese brand you thought would win, and tell me which brand surprised you most. Click the video on the left if you want to see the Japanese engines most likely to survive 300,000 miles. That ranking has a winner Toyota fans are still arguing about. If you want more real-world car rankings that save you from buying the wrong used car, hit subscribe. I will see you in the next one.